situational self-awareness. Like, obviously they're getting ready to do their job, but like you have a job that you're doing too.
This is where we celebrate the unsung heroes, the champions behind the screens who make the magic happen. Every other week, we kick back, grab a beer, and sit down with some of the most distinguished professionals in the industry, giving you a new appreciation for the media you enjoy. This is the Behind the Broadcast podcast. What is up, BTB crew and broadcast enthusiasts? My name is Parker Rattan. I am the founder and owner of Behind the Broadcast, as well as a broadcast professional. You know, when I started Behind the Broadcast, I always had this idea of wanting to share the behind the scenes. But now we're diving a little bit deeper into things. We're interviewing professionals in the industry, talking about their story, talking about their journey into broadcast and where they are today. But before we get into things, I just want to give a special shout out to Game On Sports Network. They are supplying us with this nice studio. It's an awesome little setup. So Trevor and Jake, thank you for helping us with this studio. But yeah, let's get into things. All right. He's a 3-time Emmy winner, been in industry for 12 years. He's a DP producer and E&G shooter. He studied radio, television, film at the University of Texas. Hook 'em. He started as an intern in LA and then quickly dove into sports production. Since he's worked countless events and shows, including College Game Day, CFP National Championship, NBA Finals, Masters, PGA Championship, Kentucky Derbies, and Super Bowls. Duncan, everybody. Duncan Morgan.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Thanks for having me on, Parker.
Dude, thank you for coming, man. This is it's surreal, like, just me and you both being here, because, like, I feel like, you know, we've known each other now for probably 6 or 7 years, and people always, like, confused you and I together. I feel like we're both, like, taller guys, like... it still kind of happens sometimes. But
that's crazy, because I never really thought about that until you've said it, where people will come up to me and be like, hey, did you bubble? And I'm like, no, that's not me.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, Parker. Like, yeah, that does happen.
It took like 3 or 4 weeks. So Duncan and I, we work on Monday Night Countdown together every week. And there's an IT guy on the show named Jamie. And it took him at least the first 3 weeks of the season to realize that you and I were two different people.
You're right. It is Jamie. Yeah.
But anyways, man. All right. So the Super Bowl just happened and you were there. Let's start there. Tell me how that was in Las Vegas. That's a crazy time.
Yeah, man. I mean, you were there too, but obviously we never crossed paths.
Yeah, I was at the Bellagio sets, like out on the Strip.
Yeah.
And you were actually in the stadium.
Yeah.
So what you were doing was way cooler. I was just on the outskirts. So I want to know what it was like to be in the stadium.
Yeah. So the Super Bowl is always a crazy event. Just like, it feels like another game in one aspect, but obviously it's like a Super Bowl, so it's like everything's 10x. So like the number of people, security presence,
security
just like,
must be the worst. I
mean, you got to have like a safe space. Like, I get it, but yeah, you just add 10 minutes to whatever you're going to do.
Yeah.
I actually got there like super late. I was in Friday. I was there Saturday, Sunday. I was out Monday.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's so good. Yeah, because one of the things that I don't avoid working in the stadium, because if I was asked to work in the stadium, I would probably work it. But I have this gig that I do every year, and it's outside the stadium, and it's away from all the craziness and the crowd and the security, and I personally enjoy that more. So yeah, I can understand what you're saying about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because, I mean, we've done games at Allegiant, right?
Yeah,
there's not a lot of parking in general.
Yeah.
But you have the Super Bowl, and like the NFL took up every single parking lot.
Oh, really?
So there was no parking. So like me, I shipped in all my gear and we had to shoot Saturday on the Strip. So just logistically having to get into site through security, getting the gear out.
And then get your gear out.
Yeah.
Because Allegiant's that big bowl.
Yeah.
And then so the only way to get out of that bowl is up that giant ramp and around all these other security checkpoints.
Yeah.
So what a pain in the ass, really.
Yeah, but I mean, it comes with the territory. But, we had a good ops team. They had runners that met us out in a gas station across the street with a car.
Oh, that's
like,
nice.
Was able to load it in. We didn't have to worry about Ubering or leaving gear with like someone we don't know and trust.
Yeah.
So actually, Brick, who's done games with us,
Okay.
he's established and awesome guy, and he was like, "I'll Hawkeye the gear while you guys are off doing it."
Nice. So you say while you guys are off doing it, what exactly were you doing out there? You're doing ENG stuff, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so we have, there's sales elements that we have to hit during our 4-hour pregame show. So myself and the AD, Randy Ginther, who is incredible.
Yeah.
Shout out Randy Ginther, my
Yeah.
partner in crime, I like to say.
Uh-huh.
We just had to go out and shoot stuff to fill in these sales elements, basically. So we were at the Venetian. We had something to do with the Sphere.
Nice. Did you go in it?
No, just on the Verizon actually had like something on the X chair of it.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that we had to get in there. But then we went back to the stadium and had a lot more stuff to do around. Obviously a regular season Allegiant Stadium doesn't look like Super Bowl Allegiant Stadium.
Sure.
So just freshen up scenics and you know everything like that.
So those scenics, like you'll shoot a scenic and then what? And then like it goes back into editing or whatever, and then obviously makes the show, and then that's like what? That's when they put like a billboard over it or something like that.
Yeah. So they used them for billboards. Re-teases, coming in and out of break, like multi-purpose, but
the real pretty shots.
Yeah.
the artistic pretty shots, really.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I enjoy the ENG stuff. Cause it's like you get out and you get to like use that kind of creative eye and make things happen in space. And like, I enjoy the creativity and the problem solving that comes with it.
Yeah. 100%.
But obviously it's still part of the broadcast.
Yeah.
But it almost is like
separate of it. Yeah.
Right.
It almost, exactly. And we're going to dive all into being the ENG camera here later in the show. So let's hold back on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
But man, so you've done all these different things, Masters, Super Bowls, NFL drafts. Tell me, how does someone even begin to start? Where does your career begin? Where does your journey start off to like even get you to these places?
It's a great question. I mean, I can't speak for everybody because I feel like you probably have a different story.
Everyone has a different story. That's what's so amazing about this is that we get to tell our own stories, right?
So, actually, should we pause for a little hydration?
No, you're in pause.
Look at this, like that.
Sponsor here.
Gotta wet the whistle.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
We're about to get into it.
But yeah, dude. So kind of like how you introed. I went to the University of Texas at Austin. My last semester, they have a UTLA program where it's like a small group that goes out to LA. You take classes, but the whole point is to like intern out there.
Oh wow!
So I was interning at ABC Studios in a small like reality house. Like just in a development intern.
Really?
And I thought like, I'm going to live out in LA. I'm going to do the TV thing. Like, I mean, because it was just a completely different world. Like some people study abroad. I studied LA, which felt abroad. But it was great. But I graduated that May. And I had just done, actually, I worked a Super Bowl my junior year in college.
Oh, wow.
So the one that was up here in Dallas.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
2011.
Yeah.
So I had already done that. I was out in LA in the spring of 2012.
Hey, were you a runner on that, I'm assuming?
I was like a runner and a driver.
Okay, a driver, yeah. All right, go ahead.
Like the ice storm, the whole nine.
Oh,
like it was
that Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah, the sheet of ice that like fell off the stadium. Like it's memorable for everybody. But so like I was out there and then I graduated. But like the summer, I'd always planned on going out and because I was working during pilot season and I was gonna like be a PA out on a show. Like Nashville. Like, do you remember the show Nashville?
Yeah, I remember that show.
That was one of the ones that we were developing at the time.
Okay.
And I thought I was going to, like, be a PA on it and, like, do the set life.
Sure.
But, like, that summer, the Mavs and I think the Heat or the Thunder, I forget.
Heat. In the finals?
In the finals.
Yeah, Heat. That was LeBron versus Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, it was crazy. So a lot of those people that I met at the Super Bowl were back in Dallas, so I got hit up and was
Bingo.
like, yeah. And so from there, I like met more people, and my buddy Pat, he actually was doing Little League World Series, which is August, right?
I'm just going to pause you real quick because this is so important what Duncan's saying. And we're already getting into it in the very beginning of the show. And it's just the power of networking and the power of doing a good job. It takes one show to do a good job and meet the right people. And then those people can take you to the next show, the next show, and the next show. You just gave a great example of the Super Bowl in Dallas. Okay, cool. You know, luck, not luck, but like opportunity happens where, hey, the Mavs are in the finals. A lot of those same people were working the Super Bowl. Hey, Duncan did a great job for us at the Super Bowl. Let's bring him into the finals.
Yeah, dude.
And that is how it happens. I have a very similar story. So
yeah,
that's awesome. I just wanted to touch on that subject and really hit it hard. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's really important just all around. Like, you know, people talk about like, you know, tangible skills and like this, but I think it really comes down to just like personality, work ethic, like those intangibles. 'Cause I mean, picking up trash and trailers, like refilling snacks and water coolers, like that's how it all began.
That's how it all begins.
Yeah.
And like now you produce and you DP and you're a cameraman, but like people really got to understand, you don't just come into the industry at the highest level and start doing those things. I started as a runner too, you know, driving people, you know, taking out the trash, filling up the waters, all those different things too. I mean, it's how it happens.
Do you remember your first show? Like what you were doing or where it was, or?
Mine's a little bit different where my first shows were, for my college.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so, I would do like the in-house feeds.
Yeah.
And I actually, this is going to go back to kind of go against what I just said. I actually started as a cameraman for the in-house feed, making $10 an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like 6 hours a week.
Yeah.
And so then I got my experience that way. But when I wanted to go do the bigger shows, that's when I humbled myself and realized, hey, you can't just be a cameraman. Yeah. I don't care if you have experience as 18 years old or not. Like, you got to become a runner. And so my very first show, big show, was for the Dallas Cowboys training camp on ESPN.
Oh, nice.
And it was the Monday Night Football crew that was covering the show. And guess what? I did a good job on that. And then Monday Night Football was like, hey, you did a good job in Oxnard, California. Yeah. Can you come to San Francisco? And I was like, sure, I'll come to San Francisco. And, you know, then
that's awesome.
It's from one show to the next.
I didn't know that. But, I mean, I think that's a really, like, cool transition because actually a lot of the experience I got in college, we had a volunteer TV station called TSTV. Like, shout out TSTV if you're in it.
TSTV, listen up. There's probably TSTV followers, so you know this is one of your products right here.
But like we teamed up 3 times a year, so they had like a sports department and they had a live sports department. And these are all student volunteers. Yeah, and so there was a local production company that would come. And three times a semester. So I think it was women's volleyball, spring semester, and I forget, maybe we did basketball. Yeah. It's been a minute. Yeah, right. But basically they opened up the truck and it was all student directors, student TD, student camera op. So like, ironically, like I was a camera op for like, and a TD for like one of those. Yeah. But I had no clue like what I was really doing. But when it came to these, you know, quote unquote, like network shows, at least there was like a jumping off conversation start that you're really familiar with, like the environment.
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And that's kind of like what those smaller shows supplied you for. I did very similar to your, what was it called?
TSTV, Texas Student Television.
Oh, I worked for the Big West. We're the Big West Network, and we covered like the colleges within the Big West Conference. Nice. And then we were all students, and it was like one of the greatest times of my life. Honestly, it kind of brings me back to like the high school, when you're on a high school sports team and you feel like that family environment. Yeah. That's what this little we had like a little family, dude, and like all these students that were part of this Big West production. Yeah. It's amazing. Probably like 8 out of the 12 of us that were like core people are now doing like real big things in TV, which is awesome. Oh, dude. Yeah, they all work for like different Ross and Giraffic and ESPN and all these different like big networks. It's pretty cool. So,
dude, that's awesome.
But that's just one way people can get into television is through college and getting those experiences. But anyways, we were talking about after college or after LA.
Yeah, NBA, Mavs Heat.
Oh yeah, Mavs Heat. Yeah,
Mavs Heat did that, and then networked some more. At that time, I'd driven back to LA, and actually, I thought that I had a spot on like one of those piloted crews. Turned out that it was all crewed up, so I had like a little. I wasn't even 25. I was like 21, so it wasn't even a quarter life crisis. But I was like, what do I do?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
But one of my buddies, he was doing Little League World Series, which was like a month away. He was like, what are you doing? And I was like, nothing. So did that, and then he actually was working on College Game Day. And so at the end of Little League World Series, he was like, hey, do you want to like give this a shot? Let's try it out for a week and see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. I called my parents. I threw all my stuff in my like old like 4x4 Explorer, drove back from LA to Dallas, threw it in the garage, did game day that season, and like the rest is history.
Dude, that's such a cool story. That is exactly how it happens. And then probably shortly after that, you worked the Dallas draft, and I think that's where I met you.
Yeah, that wasn't too far after that. What was that? 2015, 2014, something like that?
2016.
2016. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all.
No, I don't know either. But I think it's 2016. Yeah. And I was a runner myself, or we could runner, driver, whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember that's when I met you.
Yeah, dude. So
that's crazy. And look, we were both runners, and now I'm doing fiber tech stuff, and you're doing the biggest shows of ENG. So that's fucking awesome.
It's a trip.
It is a trip.
Yeah.
So what were we gonna say? What are the next talking points? All right. Yeah. So now, you are an ENG camera. What does that entail? Because people see ENG, they don't even know what ENG means. I don't even know what ENG means, honestly. I just know it means you go out and you shoot. Do you know what the actual acronym is? I think electronic news gathering is what it stands for. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't know how that actually pertains like to what today. You do? I mean, yeah. I think that was probably back when like digital was like a thing. Don't quote me on this. I don't know. Sounds right. Yeah. Sounds right. But yeah, I take it as anything that's like not plugged into a truck that you're like recording on a card. Good point. Or transmitting on a TVU or a live link or anything like that. Anything that's outside the truck, I would say. And I mean, it could be reporter stand-ups, like on a sports center. It could be like shooting, built stuff for billboards. Yeah. It could be, stuff that's being ran as features. Like that's a lot of what we do for like Masters and PGA is like, it's not an ESPN event. So we have ENG cameras that are just shooting for editors that basically cut pieces for like the ESPN broadcast. Gotcha. So it's just, I feel kind of like a utility knife, like not a straight blade or a pocket knife, but, just to solve. I think of it as just being a solutions focused position to solving whatever the director, producer, whatever problem is, finding a creative way to accomplish that. Yeah. Oh, interesting. So just so we clarify, you're not on like a big Sony 4300 camera, right? You're not on like a hard camera doing any of this stuff. What kind of camera are you using? Because a lot of people that are new to broadcast or getting to learn new things about broadcast, they see maybe my Instagram and they see the big cameras. I don't really show ENG stuff unless it was like a clip of you maybe doing the Hemi. But so like, tell me like what kind of cameras you're using, what kind of lenses, things like that. Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on like what tool is required for that job, right? So, I mean, we've built up kits with like FX9s, like Alexas, like
like the area Amiras.
Okay.
But a lot of it is now these days like Sony stuff. So FX9, FX6, FX3 if you're on a gimbal, something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think there's a time and place to use a gimbal. There's a time and place to use a dolly like on sticks. It just depends. So there's like I said, it just depends on what's the best tool for the job.
Yeah, I don't think I really ever thought of that because, so many other camera positions, they're so like specified. You know what I mean? But like you said, you're like, they say, Duncan, we need you to capture this. And you're like, okay, what is the best way that I can capture this? What camera am I going to use? Is it going to be on GoPros? Is it going to be on, are we going to go sledding down a giant hill with GoPros?
We have done that.
We have done that. Yeah.
Or attach GoPros to, what is it? Where they it's on ice and you slide the thing and you have to you got the broom curling. We attach GoPros on the curling things to see them hit, just to show a different perspective. We taken a GoPro and put it on a fish on Pike's Place Fish Market, where they toss the fish around and you kind of saw the head flopping as they're catching it.
That is a cool one. Man, you do a lot of cool things because I mean, for what I do, I'm basically just stuck to the arena because the fiber infrastructure and cabling infrastructure and the monitors and the cameras and things like that. And so I come in on a Friday, and we start setting up Saturday, Sunday, Monday for Monday Night Countdown. Where you fly in and then they're all of a sudden I see you in the compound, you're picking up your gear, and then you're like, all right, Parker, peace, I'm going to go to the top of the of the Space Needle. I'm like, what? Yeah. So kind of tell me, what is your schedule usually like on Monday Night Countdown?
So Countdown specifically?
Yeah, Countdown specifically, and then we can kind of what you usually do on a normal show.
Yeah, so we'll usually travel in Friday, secure gear. I like to build, charge batteries. That's a lot of prep time. You can't show up to a shoot with dead batteries, which luckily that's the beauty of SMPTE, right? You don't have to worry about.
That's true. I never have to worry about batteries. Yeah. That's very true.
Yeah. So that's Friday. Saturday is usually a full remote shoot day. So we're out on the town. 5, 6 locations, just depending on what's going on.
And do you have helpers that help you? Do you have a driver, or are you kind of just out there on your own? They're like, Duncan, you're the man.
Yeah,
go shoot it.
I will say it depends on the show.
Yeah,
an ideal situation is there would be an AC or a runner or a driver.
Okay,
and the ops crew with Monday Night Countdown has been great, providing one.
Okay,
so at least we don't have to worry about getting around, or a lot of times if we're in a big city like New York, Philly, places with no parking, it's just easy to get out of the car, let somebody stay with it, we go off and do our thing. But transportation logistics, things just operate more smoothly when you have just
extra hands.
Yeah, I feel that's, broadcasting itself is
right. Yeah,
many
true.
hands make work. So.
Yeah, that is very true. That is very true. Yeah. So you're going out into the city, you're going out to do all these cool things.
Yeah.
You mentioned putting a camera on the fish. Are there any other things that really stick out and you're like, whoa, I really did that, or I went to that, or I experienced that probably nobody would ever experience?
I'm trying to think, because Randy and I were actually trying to reminisce on top moments, and I feel the fish is one of those things that recurs, it pops up randomly. I know when the Kraken were in the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
I think an AD reached out to Randy. This was 2 years later, and was "Hey, didn't you guys do the fish shot?" And so he's asking me to he's "Do you still have that?" He's "We're finding on the on the servers." So that's the one that seems to come up the most.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
What about
cool
exclusive access? Didn't you you went to let's say we're in Indianapolis. Did you ever go on a race car or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, so the Indy 500, we actually got to drive on the track.
See,
which was pretty
that's something you never get to do.
You're right. Yeah, and they put in like some of the logo branding into the I forget what they call it, but it's like on the paddock, like
Okay.
Where the finish line is.
Okay.
So I had like the Monday Night Football logo, and so we were shooting off of that at like the Indy 500 like track, which was pretty sweet.
That is really cool. So let's say you go out and you shoot for 6 hours, right? 7 hours.
Yeah.
How much of that footage is like actually ever sees the day of light on TV?
That's a great question. On average, about 20 seconds a spot. Yeah, so, there's like certain like restaurant sponsors, car insurance sponsors, like there's certain things that you have to like watch out for. Like if you're sponsored by Panera and we shoot at like a sub shop in Pittsburgh, maybe don't use that for like a Panera sponsorship.
Yeah, right.
But, or sometimes there's perfect tie-ins, like if Geico or Allstate's a sponsor, Indy 500 cars, like there's an overlap, like
they'll
cool.
Use that. Yeah.
But yeah, like most of those spots are anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So, but in a 2-hour show, you might have 4 or 5 of them, plus some rejoins and stuff like that. So
right. So let's say you shoot a shot and it's awesome. You're like, this should make the show. Do you have any say? Can you go to Randy and say, Randy, we got to get this part in the show, and then Randy will go look at it and be like, oh yeah, that is pretty cool. Well, let's use that. Yeah. Do you have that freedom or that? I mean, I have a voice. We have a good. I'd say it's like comes down to like the working relationship you have with people, and Randy and I have like a really like we have done this show for 3 years together now. I think 3. Yeah. But we're just like so in tune with like thinking and like process and workflow that usually if I think something's cool or if he thinks something's cool, then the other one of us also thinks it's cool. And he's always game for like pushing the envelope or trying something. If it doesn't work, like I said, we're only needing, 30 seconds. Right. So we always tend to overshoot than what we need, obviously. Yeah, so you're the reason why we have no budget, because you're just out there overshooting all day long.
No, man. No. Another budget, more budget would have a second person out there.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Well, man, that's all super cool stuff. I want to take a break, and because one of the reasons why we're doing these first 3 podcasts, we're trying to get sponsored.
Nice.
And we want to do equipment reviews.
Okay.
Right now we're going to have an equipment review.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. So this equipment review is on.
Oh man, look at that.
Kaleidoscope extendable chair. Now, it was just holding my iPad, but basically it's great for television because you can take it kind of anywhere.
Yeah, dude.
And we have a couple friends that actually turned me on to this.
I was going to say, were you influenced?
I was influenced. You want to name drop the influencers?
Yeah, I'm going to say Randy French was probably the OG.
Randy French. Yeah, Randy French and Andrea DeLion. Yeah, Andrea DeLion. That's right.
Randy was the first.
Randy was our first. Randy is our steady op. Mm-hmm. And then Andrea is our jib. But she carries this thing. They both carry it everywhere they go because TV is what do they say TV is? Hurry up and wait. Yep. And so there's a lot of just sitting down, and maybe you don't want to be on your feet all day. And so you just carry this with you. Then you extend it out.
See, I've actually never used it, so let's
turn it. So all right, here, I'll let you use it.
Yeah, let's. So what you gotta?
So put your fingers in the hole, and you kind of just like turn it, and then to lock it, you see how it turns in the grooves.
Okay.
It kind of like that.
Just like. Does it come with this little padded thing?
So the padding is actually $20 extra.
That's how they get.
Dude, I think it's like $15 for the thing, and then it's $20 for the pad or something like that.
Dude, this is like it's lightweight.
Yeah. No, they're great.
Have you sat on this yourself?
Oh, I've sat on this many times. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get this.
Give it a thing, and hopefully it breaks because that'd be funny. Look at that. Dude. Look at that. Yeah, so they're really cool. My only thing I have a complaint about with it is I had to glue the pad into the holes. They're supposed to fit into it, but
it was coming off.
The pad comes off. Yeah, because you buy it separately. So whoever makes this, if you guys are watching this, you know.
Yeah, but like the fact that it, like you could just slide this into like a 1610 Pelican or a 1650 and just like have it. I mean, I need to get one of these myself.
Yeah, no, dude. Honestly, they're great. And then last thing about this.
You keep snacks in there?
You do not keep snacks in there. But you can kind of just like sling it over your shoulder. Like when I'm doing fiber, like these are great because the IOs are always down low.
Yeah.
And then like when we're troubleshooting fiber, like it could be 15 minutes we're sitting at an IO forever, and maybe the ground's wet, and like I don't want to get my pants wet, so then I'm just standing there. I'm awkwardly like
dude, that's the worst.
Crouched down like a catcher,
having wet pants all day.
Yeah, exactly. So now, you know, I kind of bring this to a lot of shows that I work, and yeah, that's I don't really know what it's called, but you can find it on eBay, maybe. There we go.
That's awesome, man. What price range?
Or not eBay. Did I say eBay? Amazon.
Yeah. Amazon.
Where am I living in in 2000?
2005.
Yeah.
Actually, but there are some good things on eBay, if you're looking for it.
They are. No, eBay is still out there.
Yeah.
It's definitely underappreciated and underused. Cool.
Man.
So yeah, that is that product review.
Nice.
Two
thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Room for improvement,
but you know,
it's solid.
It is like $20, so it's like you can't really.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's how. Oh man, I need to buy 2 of them.
And she's been used for about a year now, so she's
okay. You don't feel bad if it breaks or gets like trampled.
Oh no, I've definitely got my money's worth. And now I think it's kind of like starting to wear out a little bit, like some of the notches or whatever. But
no, I like
cool.
it.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so we kind of like hit on. You went to the Little League World Series, and it was like. Everything was history after that. Mm-hmm. But what show really sprung your career as an ENG camera operator or producer or DP? I guess more ENG. Let's talk ENG.
Yeah.
What show was it where they're like, Duncan, we need a guy.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I know how to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you impress the hell out of someone, obviously.
I hope so.
Well, you did because look at what you do now.
Yeah, right. No, so I mean, I guess I can back up a little bit, and like I spent before I was doing ENG stuff for like more network like broadcasters and stuff like that. I always did that locally here in Dallas.
Okay.
Agency friends, you know, gyms, small business owners that like we were acquainted with, but I was actually like a production coordinator on like the production management side.
Yeah.
So
you were on the coordinator. Dude, yeah. I always thought I was going to be a coordinator too. Maybe it's just like our personalities where we thought, oh, maybe let's go on the managerial side. And then we're like, this is not it.
Yeah. I mean, my wife
it wasn't for me.
My wife always tells me, she's like, it's so annoying because like both different types of work, like I'm interested in. It's not like I prefer one. Like I'd say I go through seasons where like, you know, diving into a spreadsheet is like really awesome. Like, let's get into some financials, like, you know, transpo grids, like scheduling, like there's a time and place.
Yeah.
But while I was doing that, I was like, I had an itch to like get more back on the creative side. So it was actually, it was like 3 years ago before Monday Night Football.
Oh, wow.
That Mike Montoya actually reached out to me.
Shout out Montoya.
Yeah.
Shout out Faction.
Yeah, there you go. Faction.
That's a big plug right there.
Yeah.
Insert Faction.
Yeah. But he reached out to me and because like Randy's known me for a while and he was like, hey, like, you know, I know that you do this stuff on the side. We need some more help. On Countdown specifically, is that something you're interested in? And I was like, sure, like let's give it a shot. And I feel like the rest is history.
Wow. So what was the first show that I guess you were probably contracted through Faction.
Yep.
What was that first show? Monday Night Countdown?
It was Monday Night Countdown, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
3 years ago.
They just threw you in. They're like, Duncan, you know how to do this?
Yeah, there was some, actually Justin Amash.
Yeah.
He went out there with me the first time, and it was really, like, he does a great job because, like, I don't know if he was ever, like, a trainer when he was, like, a staffer at ESPN, but he was really good about, like, talking through stuff and be like, hey, I'm going to let you do it, and then, like, I'm going to watch and give critiques.
Yeah.
Because that was, like, the most MOVI work I'd ever done before at the time.
Sure.
And it's, like, it's just a different skill. And after, like, the first week, he was like, no. He's like, I think you got this. And then it was just me.
Nice.
Yeah. But it is good to have, like, a network of people that you can call on if you come across an issue, like a technical issue.
Sure.
There's, like Mike, Randy, Justin, those guys have all been great for, like, piggybacking. Like, have you ever seen this
have you ever
this
seen
problem before? So, yeah, it's been great.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so what is your favorite part about working in broadcast TV, ENG work?
I think just touching back, like, the creativity side, like, getting to create something that, like, if you're sitting at home, like, you probably want to be able to do those experiences. Like you said, like, being on the Indy 500 track, like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, getting to see those things, but also, like, the people. I mean, I think, like, you could have, like, we've been with different crews before, right?
Sure.
There's great crews. There's, like, not so great crews.
Yeah.
And maybe you don't remember what the job was with the great crew, but you remember the crew.
Right.
You remember those things. And I think that that's, like, the coolest part is, like, that teamwork to, like, create things.
And that's totally how, like, television and big network shows are built around is the crew.
Yeah.
Like you said, you touched on it in the very beginning where it was like you kind of get hired for your work ethic and your personality and, like, you're just your not friendliness, but, like, the way you're able to work with a team, work with everyone.
Yeah.
That's what's really gonna. And then you build those skills. You build the work skills kind of on top of those intangible things that you're kind of just. Some people either kind of have or they don't, in my opinion, because, like, you'll have people that come on shows and you just know right away you're like, maybe this isn't the right career path for you.
Yeah.
So it's just really important to have, like, that personality and that go get attitude, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very true. Is the crew? It's a great part of. It's one of my favorite parts about being in TV as well.
Yeah, I feel like it makes or breaks it. Like I mean, I've done shows that, like I said, couldn't tell you how the actual shoot went. Yeah. But I remember, like, this joke that a buddy said or something like that.
Sure.
Like,
yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. And it makes it easier to be at work because we don't work 9 to 5s.
Yeah.
We work 8 to 6 normally, and then a lot of times 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 1 a.m., you know what I mean? So we're with each other for, like, 4 days straight, 3 days straight at 14 hours a day. We see each other more than our wives or our significant others, and that's kind of how it is. So that's why it's so important just to have people that you click with.
Yeah.
And I think Mark Manini does a really good job of, like, kind of keeping that for Monday Night Countdown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Shout out Mark.
Shout out Horn. Tony Avila.
Gotta shout out Horn.
He's for sure watching this. He's, I think, my number one fan.
Is he?
I would definitely put him up there, top 5.
Yeah.
Biggest fans of Behind the Broadcast.
Yeah, dude. No. Yeah.
Horn.
I love Horn.
All right. So you and I, are you 32?
No, dude, I just turned 34.
34. Oh,
you see these grays?
Tell me about it. I thought you and I were the same age. So
are you 32?
I'm 32. But I graduated high school in 2010.
Okay. Yeah, I was 08.
Oh, okay. Yeah, too.
I'd say we're right there.
Yeah. So anyways, we're right in, like, the same kind of time in life where things are really starting to pick up. Marriage, you're married, I'm married.
Yeah, dude, congrats, by the way.
Thank you. Any plans for a family, kids in the future with, like, how crazy broadcasting is in that world that we live in?
Yeah. No, I actually got a little one on the way. Expecting in the summer.
Wow.
So July. It's coming up quick.
Wow, dude. That is... I don't even know. I just got a puppy. My first puppy. And actually, I came to you, of all people.
Yeah.
Remember at work a couple months ago, and I was like, dude, I just got a dog. Like, any advice on training it? And you gave me some good advice.
Yeah.
But I had like puppy brain for a little bit. I still cannot even imagine what it's going to be like to have a kid. And especially like, even that now, like when I leave for work for 10 days, or I left for the Super Bowl I was gone for 18 days. I was like, dang, man, dude. I get to leave my puppy at home.
It's sad.
Are there any ways I don't think about coping with it, but like, you and your wife, how you guys work it out being on the road so often and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, like, I gotta shout out to my wife Karina, because she is like my rock. Like, without her, like, I couldn't be doing this stuff.
Totally.
Like, I think it's hard being on the road, especially when you're in some kind of a relationship, but like not even a relationship, like friendships.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure you have like friends that they are like, oh, it's a coin flip whether or not you can come. Like,
it's exactly
like, and it sucks.
Yeah. It does suck. It's like, oh, so-and-so has a birthday party this weekend, or that we're having to get together at so-and-so's house. And you're like, are you going to be able to make it? You're like, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. I'll let you know next week.
I'll let you know next week. It's like, what do you mean you can't plan for it? Like, no, not really. Like, if a show comes up, I'm probably going to take it. Cause,
especially like full season shows. Like, it's a blessing and a curse. Like, it's great to have and know you have it lined up, but also like, that there's going to be some strains on like the personal side. So I'd say without my wife, like, she's the one that made this possible too, because I think I get more guilty. I think she's like has accepted it. But I still play the what if game with myself. I'm like, well, like, am I doing enough? Am I pulling enough weight? Like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a conversation that we're always having, like, how to make the household, the relationship, because you have a house?
I don't. Hopefully it's in the plans the next like 4 or 5 months.
Home ownership too. I mean, everyone always says like that's a jump in itself. And I was like, yeah, but like I really want to have a house, but there's just like the yard's got to get mowed. Like, you got a clogged drain. Like, someone's got to deal with it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I like to say that, life on the road is tough, but like when you're in that relationship, it's equally as tough when you're the person at home without the other person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure your wife is like, there's stuff that I could use your help with, but you're not here.
Yeah. So I'm like, call me, FaceTime me. I'll help you fix the freezer, or the ice maker, and that's very true. So shout out to our wives that, like you said, our rocks, like they're at home taking care of the stuff that we can't take care of.
Dude, I think it's important just for everyone in this industry, like, whether you're married in a relationship or not, have a support system.
Yeah.
Like friends, if you live near family, like that you just got to have some kind of grounding, presence in your life. Cause I mean, there's times where you're on like a, 2-week show and you're like, I don't remember like what hotel room I'm in. Like you'll wake up and be like, what city am I in? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not all like glitz and glamour.
No, it's not all glitz and glamour. People see like, oh yeah, you're at the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm at the Super Bowl, but I'd kind of rather be at home with my wife and puppy watching the game, like drinking a beer.
Yeah.
I don't want to be up right now at 12:30 in the morning and I'm working overnight from 12:30 to 7 a.m. to strike all this cable because we're in Las Vegas and those are the only times that we can work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not all glitz and glamour. That's for dang sure.
Right.
But, all right. So kind of like following along with like the family, and congratulations again.
Thanks, man.
Expecting in the summertime. Do you have any future plans do you want to continue in broadcast? Like, once you're full on dad where you have like an 8-year-old daughter or son, and you want to be at their basketball games or soccer games or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Ballet, I don't know. You know.
Well, it's a boy, but if he chooses to do ballet, like we'll support that.
We'll support that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Do you have any plans like to try and get off the road as much?
I mean, I would say that there's a goal. It's probably to like not travel as much.
Yeah.
I don't have like a working plan or anything like that, but I definitely don't think that like I'm gonna be wanting to be gone when like soccer games and stuff like that. So I know that we have a little bit of time.
Exactly.
Obviously, like he's not gonna be born and like hitting the field like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I've talked with other people that have kids that are in the industry, and that's another good support network like that I've heard of.
Shout out Clay. Clay, I've talked to Clay about that kind of stuff.
Blackwood. Those guys have been awesome. Steve Z.
Oh yeah.
And Randy Ginther. Like all those guys, I have bounced a lot of questions and stuff about. But yeah, I think 5-7 years. That's probably like a good target to be around.
I'm right there with you. Hopefully, I would like to have children and family in the near future as well. And so, I think my kind of plan is like 8-10 years still in this industry, and hopefully, I've made enough money by then where the money's going somewhere else, or maybe behind the broadcast is taken off enough where it can retire me off the road. But pipe dreams, we gotta have them. We all gotta have dreams.
Yeah, but there's nothing that says that you can't still be a part of the industry, just not in a traveling.
Great point.
100% of the time capacity.
Yeah, well, great point. I mean, I'm glad you said that, because one of my goals is to still be working in the industry. Yeah. But maybe be a cameraman 2 times a week, and I'll go film Rangers, or I'll go shoot.
It's right down the road.
Or I'll go shoot Mavericks just to get away from my wife for 2 days. You know what I mean?
I get stir crazy a little bit.
Yeah, just to get out of the house and and hopefully behind the broadcast or something else, stocks or real estate or whatever is helping me float the rest of that income. But I don't want to leave the industry, that's for sure. But
you're saying diversify. You're just trying to diversify.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's important. Well, dang, man, this has been some great conversations. But now I've got a game for us to play.
Oh, okay. Now I'm nervous.
All right, so it's basically a guessing game.
Okay.
In this hat, there's a bunch of broadcasting terms, words, positions, things like that.
You didn't tell me I had to study before this.
No. And so basically, you're going to ask 8 questions.
Okay.
In those 8 questions, you're going to try and guess what's on this piece of paper that you're going to pull out of this hat.
Okay.
So, but you're going to pull it, don't look at it, and then give it to me. All right?
So just pull one?
Yeah, pull one.
And give it to you.
Yeah, give it to me, and then I'll show the camera. So don't look at the return monitor.
Yeah, but shout out that return monitor.
Oh, all right. This is a good one. This is gonna be tough.
Oh, perfect.
All right. So I will tell you that just give you a start. It is a thing. So it's a thing in broadcast. It's not a person or a place.
So we're ruling out person, place. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
And I'm asking you questions?
Yeah, you're asking me questions. Yeah, 8 questions. You have to get in 8 tries.
Got to get in 8. Okay. Is it some sort of cable?
No.
So it's not a cable.
No, not a cable.
All right. No cable. Is it some kind of camera?
Nope.
No camera?
Not a camera either.
Okay. Is it used to illuminate something?
No, it is not.
Okay. Is it a stool of some sort?
It is not. You're getting real specific. You got to ask questions that'll help illuminate things.
Yeah. Does it support, do you place something on it?
No, you do not.
Okay.
That's 5.
That's 5 right there. We've ruled out cameras, lights, cables. Man, do you speak into it?
You do not speak into it.
Okay. So no mic, no intercom. Well, we got 2 more?
Yeah, 2 more.
Man. Do you sit in it?
You do not sit in it.
Man, what is on this thing? Man, and it's broadcast specific.
It's broadcast specific for sure.
Jeez.
Yeah, one more.
One more. That's a shot in the dark. Do you eat it?
You do not, no.
Oh, okay.
So
dang,
we gotta do this again because that was really out of the 3 episodes, you might have the worst one.
Okay.
I thought COD was bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, that one was bad. I can tell you, don't go into fiber because problem solving and process elimination is not down your aisle.
Yeah. What was it?
The answer is a BTB tool, my little keychain tool. But you weren't even in the right area. All right, let's try that again. Try that again.
Okay.
Let's do one more.
What was CODs? Or was it also
CODs were like a C-stand and some other things.
See, I would have.
All right, this one's another.
Not any better.
This one's kind of tough. This is probably the toughest one.
Perfect.
I don't look. Don't look.
Not looking.
All right. So it's another thing. It's another thing in broadcast.
Another thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I gotta. Is it a tool?
No, it's not a tool.
Right.
It's not a tool, but it's used to help something.
Do you place something on it?
You don't place anything on it.
Okay. So no tripods. No behind the broadcast tools.
No broadcast.
So it's an accessory of some sort.
Yeah, an accessory of some sort. There's 2.
What we got? Does it illuminate?
It doesn't illuminate, but it might have like a light in it to like an indicator maybe.
Does it convert?
It converts.
Okay. So is it a converter?
Yeah, I mean, what kind of converter?
Is it a fiber converter? An SDI fiber?
HDMI to SDI converter.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that when I said the light, when I said the light indicator.
Well, to be honest, I was like monitor, set lights. Yeah. But as soon as you said it has a light.
All right, one more. Maybe one will be easier.
Okay. Let's get in here. Is that one? Boom.
All right.
Get in there.
All right. This one is definitely easier.
Okay.
It's another thing randomly because I think you've somehow picked out all the things that I had in
Not the places or the people.
Not the places or the people.
So it's another thing. Okay. Can you place something on it?
Yes, you can.
Do you use it with a camera?
Yes, you do.
Is it a tripod?
It's a tripod.
Okay.
All right.
That's a record.
That's a record. All right, than 3. That's pretty good. So that was our game, 8 questions.
Yeah.
Hopefully for 8 beer. Sponsors 8 beer. Sponsors 8 questions.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I see that crossover.
Yeah. So
it's your own billboard right there.
Yep, exactly. 8 questions.
We can have a shoot about it.
Yes, we can. And we can drink our 8 beer while we talk about it.
Right here. Cheers.
All right. Next segment. So it's called Shoot It or Can It.
Okay.
So basically, like, if you shoot it, you like it, you want to run with it, you go for it, or obviously, or can it, like, get it out of here.
Get it out of here.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right. Shoot it or can it. Working out on the road.
Shoot it.
Shoot it.
Yeah. For me, it's a necessity. Not so much, it is physical because, like, what I do, like, if you're operating a MOVI for 8 hours, like...
good point.
Yeah,
you got to be physically fit.
You got to be physically fit. For me, that's me time. That's mental. I'm checking out, like, phone's not in do not disturb, but, like, I'm not checking it. Like, that's my 30 minutes to an hour that's just for me.
Hence how you get the 22s. I need to get on that. I need to get on that.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, cool. Very good. So we're shooting it. We're going with working out on the road. All right. How about eating fast food on the road?
It's a double-edged sword. If it's not my first choice,
Yeah.
but like you said, if you're getting done from a show and it's midnight,
Yeah.
and like you haven't eaten in 6+ hours, yeah, whatever's on Uber Eats, like if it's pizza or a burger, like I'm gonna eat it.
What's
like,
your guilty pleasure? Like, are you pizza guy, burger guy? You know, it's late. Taco Bell, maybe.
Oh, never Taco Bell.
No, not Taco Bell.
I draw the line at Taco Bell. I mean, I'll probably get pizza before that.
Yeah, pizza before that.
Yeah. Depends on where you're at though. Like I found like these hole in the wall places in Phoenix that have like taco trucks that open till like 3 a.m. Like those places are great.
I love those kind of places.
Yeah. The sketchier the better. Like
the sketchier the better. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Do you ever grocery shop on the road?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, this sounds like so cliche broadcast. Like I always pick up like a thing of peanut butter and jelly.
You do?
And keep it in my room. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because breakfast before I leave the room.
Yeah.
Like half the time I never know. Is there going to be stuff to eat when you get on site?
True.
Is it going to be warm? Is it cold? Like I don't ever complain about if there is or isn't something there. I just put it into my own, like, put the ball in my court. Like I can control that.
Yeah.
If I can pick something up before, I'll eat it. Yeah.
Nice. All right, cool. All right. We didn't really go so much we went a lot into the ENG offside of stuff. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll just touch on this real quick because I actually did want to talk to you about this. You do something really cool where you'll be out on the field during warm-ups and pregame. Are there any like pointers, tips, like do's, do nots when you're out there on the field when you have professional athletes running around you?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And it's different between college and pros in terms of like access. It's similar, but I think at the very like bottom of like the pyramid is just common sense.
Yeah.
Like situational self-awareness. Like obviously they're getting ready to do their job. But like you have a job that you're doing too. So I think mindset is really important, that like knowing where you can and can't be before you're out there. And are there times to push the envelope? Sure.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if it's Brady's last game and we're out there, like,
dude, shot, now I think about it real quick, you shot Brady's last ever entrance into a stadium.
Yeah, that wild card game.
And you know why I know that?
Tampa.
It's because I was the utility for that cameraman in Tampa, because it was a wild card game, and obviously the Bucs lost that game. To the Cowboys. Yeah, they lost the Cowboys. But I remember going to you, I was like, dude, did you get me in the shot? Tell me you have a shot of me with Brady on his last arrival into the stadium. And you're like, no, I cropped you out. And I was like, damn it, Duncan.
Yeah.
That would have been a highlight for sure that I would have just kept forever if I would have been in the same shot as Brady.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, talk a little bit more about like doing those walk-ins to the stadium, entrances in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're, if you're shooting a quarterback like Mahomes or somebody who's like obviously throwing, there's a difference of him throwing out of pads just like to someone on his staff, like, maybe you can be a little bit more heads on with them. But if he's in pads throwing to receivers, like his O-line's out there, like you're obviously not going to stand in front of him.
Yeah, sure.
Like you're going to, either profile or behind them and, move around. So it's just understanding the flow of like how their warm-up procedures are. And obviously like you want to fight for position and be in a good spot. Yeah. But again, at the base of it is respect. Like,
sure. Like
just having, I talk to the coaches all the time. And, sometimes some teams are more strict of what you can and can't do than others. But half the time, actually, I learned this from Drex, who I was a utility for Drex when I was like just getting started.
Oh, nice.
And he'll actually even if it's non-verbally, will like point at the coach, if it's quarterback coach, whatever, wide receiver coach, and he'll just like point to where he's going to be, and he'll give like, is this cool with you?
Oh, really?
And just give like a heads up, like, hey, I'm gonna be standing here, kneeling right here. If you want me to move, let me know. You know, it's just like a respect thing. At least that's how I do it.
Yeah.
And only then a couple of times like hasn't gotten me in trouble or, you know, steered me wrong since.
All right. What about like, okay, let's say like an NBA player, LeBron.
Yeah.
You're doing a Laker game or something.
Yeah.
LeBron's entering the arena, and you've got photogs on your left shoulder, right shoulder. You got social media people jumping in your shot.
Yeah.
How do you go about navigating all that chaos and still getting that shot of LeBron walking in?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, you have just as much right to be there as anybody else. But if you're on the broadcast with the rights holder, you more than anybody have like the right to be there. I think it really comes down to like how you handle the situation. So I like to think of it as everybody else is there, has a job to do, and there is a way for us all to get a shot.
Right.
So it's almost like a teamwork. So I put in the work early.
Do you talk to the other people?
Absolutely.
Like, everyone kind of says like, hey, I'm going to kind of stay on your left shoulder.
If the time is there and the situation arrives, I always like introduce myself, just have a conversation. Yeah. And a lot of the times team photogs, or like if it's a bigger event, like you're in a final situation, there's more and more media that are out there.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious, like you're with the broadcast. A lot of times people will come up to me and be like, hey, are you walking them out?
Yeah, I've noticed that too. As a utility, usually, you know, or a cameraman on a handheld. Yeah, I've had that come up to me where people are like, hey, I'm going to be right over here. Is that okay? Because they normally do respect you.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the game, I think it's sometimes all bets are off.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more of a scrum, but like pregame, like usually it's a little bit more cordial. Like, we can all work together and get, you know, space, like based on what the space allows. I mean, it's going to get crowded, but yeah, you can get there. That's just me personally. Cool. I know people have different philosophies, but I do think like mindset and like knowing that it's your job just as much as anybody else to be there.
Yeah. I like that. It's a respectful mindset. Very respectful mindset.
Yeah.
So I feel like some people are just like, I'm here to do a job and I'm going to get my job done because I don't want to like disappoint my boss or whoever I'm working for.
Right.
But it's like, hey, everyone's getting paid to be there.
Yeah.
So
that's not to say that I won't be aggressive in there, because you gotta you gotta do it if you're gonna do it.
Steve Z is on your ass.
Yeah. But yeah, I think there is a way that we can all like work together, because I mean, I don't see it getting any less crowded out there.
Yeah.
I mean, gotta feed the money machine. More and more people are going to be out there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm glad we kind of jumped back into that, because that was one thing that I really wanted to hit, and it kind of got lost in a lot of other conversations.
Yeah, totally.
All right, but now back to our segment, Shoot or Can It.
Okay.
Talking on headset during the show.
I'm a big non-talker.
You are. You're very quiet.
I try to be, yeah. Unless it's like mission critical, you usually won't hear me, and half the time it'll be hand signals. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah. I don't like to hear the sound of my voice too, dude. And a lot of times, like, things are already chaotic. But I think it depends, back to our earlier conversation, is like, who's the crew?
Yeah.
You know, is it more relaxed? How's the director? You know, how am I comfortable with the director?
Sure.
And most of the crews I'm on, like, they're pretty relaxed. Like, it's, you know.
Yeah. There's certainly people that talk way more than others, though.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of in the position where I feel like I'm only talking if it's really necessary. Yeah. Because I don't really like the extra chatter of like a joke or things like that. It's rare that I'll chime in and do that. Because I think it's just kind of like a respect thing too. It's like, we're all out here trying to do a job, and let's not distract each other from doing the job. Yeah. But it, like you said too, it just depends on the crew too. Like, I've had directors that are like, I don't want to hear you say a damn word. And then I'll have a director that's like cracking jokes the entire show and like getting the other camera operators involved. So it just all kind of depends, I guess.
Yeah, I gauge it based on like what else is happening, especially if it's a new crew that I've never worked with before.
Yeah.
I default to less is more.
Less is more. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Can it? I'll say can it.
Yep, definitely can it.
All right. Changing your attire on game days, like what you wear on game days, like collared shirt, or you come in like...
Are you talking about like from when you first get on site on game day to like right before?
No, like how you dress in the days before the game compared to how you're dressing on game day.
It's definitely different. So what would that be? A shoot it?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, shoot it. Yeah, shoot it. Like, you want to wear like a collared shirt or...
Yeah, I mean, I usually black, like black on show days.
Good point. Yeah, maybe just all black. Yeah,
and I have a lot of black in my wardrobe. It's not my favorite color.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be more comfortable in the days leading up to it. But on show day, I usually like black.
Yeah, show blacks. Yeah, that's why they call it show blacks.
Yeah.
Good point. All right, we're getting towards the end. I got one more segment, and then we'll wrap it up.
Cool.
All right, this one is called This or That.
Okay.
So clear. It's pretty clear. Do you like this or do you like that?
Cool.
All right. Working on an ENG camera or a broadcast camera?
ENG.
ENG. That's the easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much more creativity involved. So much you can do so much more with an ENG camera. You go to cool places and.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah, ENG. All right. All right. I wrote this one specifically for you.
Oh man!
All right,
now I'm nervous.
All right, working with the production people or working with operations people?
See that's a split, man. I don't know. Like I still have so many friends on the production side. I feel like now I live in operations world all the time. Then anytime I can hang out with those people, I'm going to do it. So I'd say probably production with that regard.
Okay. You see, okay. All right. So production people. Interesting. All right. Working a rain show or a hot show, like 105 degree show? Hot. Yeah.
No, there's nothing worse than being wet. Like you said, like sitting on the ground in like a puddle, like, because on top of that, if I'm in rain gear and I'm running around, I'm already going to be sweat. Like that game in Baltimore. Yeah. It was 13 degrees outside and it was wet the full day. God. So I was...
Baltimore was brutal.
Even though it was freezing out, I was sweating so much. Because like you're wearing a plastic, like you're like trying to make weight, like wrestling.
You're wearing a sweatsuit.
Yeah, no, I would totally just take the heat. Yeah,
take the heat. Maybe you could just
be dry
and wear a sweat wicking shirt.
Yeah, you can like layer, like,
show off the muscles,
right? Get a nice farmer's tan. You know, that's what my wife loves.
All right, this one's a pretty easy one for you: a healthy crafty table or an unhealthy crafty table?
Healthy. Yeah.
What's your go-to on a crafty table?
I mean, there's such a range too that's out there, like depending on what the show is. But if there's some kind of like protein bar, like nuts, something like that.
That's what my go-to is. I don't really eat much off of a crafty, but it'll be either a protein bar or trail mix. I like trail mix.
Yeah. Yeah, after 30, like things don't fall off the way they do. I try to minimize snacking to a minimum.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, all right, man. That kind of wraps up the third episode of the Behind the Broadcast podcast. Nice, do you have any last words to say? Any shout outs to people? Any shout outs to yourself? Anything like that?
I mean, I think just like at the end of the day, like if you're trying to make it in this industry, because I think like that's what you've been doing great about your page, is like educating people behind like what it takes. You know, it is a team effort. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what your job is. I think just like remember to be kind out there. Like everyone's going through something. Like
tell us the camera.
It's not sunshine and rainbows. You know, people are struggling. They have their own things that are happening that aren't maybe forward facing. So it's a stressful industry. It's not brain surgery, but just, remember, be kind.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wear a hat. I don't know. You see my melon hat. Shout out Melon.
Yeah, Melon.
That's a shameless Melon plug.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get sponsored by Melon. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, dude.
But I wear a hat that says "High five for kindness."
Oh, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have seen that.
So be kind is huge, man.
Yeah. See where it takes you in your career too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Positive attitude, man.
Awesome, Dunk.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes our third episode. Thank you for tuning in.